everyone, I'm Becky.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're doing Bickering Book Reviews. Today we are talking about Havoc by Mary Lindsey, which we got an email blast from Untitled Teen who asked if we would read this, and they gave us access to the eARCs, so thank you, Untitled Teen.
Thank you.
This is the sequel to the book Haven, which we did a review for a couple years ago, but it was old enough that I did not really remember it.
That's like 1,000 books ago.
It's hard with the sequels, and I wish I had time to like reread the series, but it just ain't gonna happen. So this book is about Rain Ryland, and Rain had grown up with his mother who was absent. She had drug problems and she wasn't emotionally stable, and he ended up living on the streets in Houston. And when his mother overdosed, this all happened in the first book, by the way, so spoilers for Haven. He got sent to live with his mother's twin sister in New Worldsburg, which is another part of Texas, where he never really known his aunt, but his aunt was all like, hey, I'll take you in and I'll love you. And so he's got a good life. And he had met Freddie, who he fell in love with. And he found out that she was the leader of a werewolf pack. And through a series of events in the first book, he became a werewolf. He transitioned. And so this book starts, he and Freddie are in love and happy, and she's going to take the final ceremony to be an alpha, and then a group of werewolves from Germany show up. And they're like, guess what? Freddie has actually been sworn to somebody else, and we want to take control over everything. And if you fight us in any way, we're going to kill Rain. And at the same time, there's a group of people that have magical powers who seal the magic when somebody passes away. And if it's not done properly, the people rise from the dead. And they're zombie-like creatures called revenants. And people are starting to rise from the dead. So they're investigating what's going on with that. They're trying to get Freddie out of this marriage contract. And Rain's just trying to like find some happiness in his world.
I mean, in certain regards, it feels a lot like a True Blood read-alike for teens. Like a teen version of True Blood in certain ways. I think, as you're describing it, there are 3 major plot points. And I think once it all kind of resolves, I wish that it was better. I just wish that it was better connected, I guess. Like, it was connected. But I just feel like it wasn't like, I wasn't vibing with like how it all connected.
Right. And I don't know what it is.
I don't know. It didn't feel magical. It didn't feel
there wasn't that there wasn't that like, mystic.
That chef's kiss, like when you get there, that you're like, right, there it all is, and like, I don't know.
And I looked on my Goodreads, and I loved the first book in this series, and I really have enjoyed other books by this author. But there was something, it didn't have that sparkle. It didn't have that shine. And I felt like,
and I was wondering, like, is it because it's a second book? Like, is it just second book syndrome?
And maybe there'll be a third book, and this book has middle book syndrome. I don't know. I didn't feel like I got to know Rain or Freddie particularly better. I didn't care for them anymore. They're characters who died in this book, and I didn't really care.
So, and I think that's what it is. I don't think we got to know the characters very well in this book. Like, nothing more was developed. Like, you still don't know how you fall with the chief. Like, you still don't know how you fall with Grant. Like, you never really get to know Fred's mom. Like, you never really make that connection with her. Like, I just don't think that the characters weren't strong in this book, I think, is what it comes down to. And I think had they been more developed and had we spent more time with them, maybe the plot points would have felt more magical.
And maybe if you read the first book and went straight into the second book, it would be different. Because for me, I was having a hard time remembering stuff, and I didn't really care enough to go back. Like, it didn't grab me. Like, I wasn't like, I must keep reading. And when there's like, when it's revealed who the bad guy is, I was kind of like, eh.
Well, it was kind of obvious almost, you know what I mean?
Well, and then you had the people, the weavers that came from Germany who were like trying to overtake them and like threatening, and they kept threatening to kill them with like a euthanasia drug, and I was just
Yeah, it was
like,
weird.
yeah, it just didn't really quite work for me, and it's unfortunate because the author
And I don't
is
even have
good.
like a suggestion for how it would have worked better. I don't know. Like it just didn't have the sparkle.
No, and like there was no charm. I wasn't charmed. And a lot of time with these because it is a paranormal romance. A lot of time with the paranormal romances, like there's like a quirkiness or something that kind of gets you.
But because the romance was kind of put on hold because it had to be, like I feel like the whole thing felt like it was put on hold.
I felt like
We're gonna
I was
hold it
waiting for
together.
something to happen through the whole book, and I just
I don't know.
like I never was compelled to keep reading.
Yeah.
And I
I mean,
guess
but it did read very quickly for me. Like I got through it very quickly. I I do still like Rain. I do still like Fred. Like like I liked the ant. I mean, there's still a solid story there. It just didn't have the sparkle.
so here is my thought, because I'm like, would I keep reading? And I'm thinking, if there's another book about Rain and Freddie being together and like setting up the pack and changing the pack, yes, I would keep reading that. And I liked the book about them getting together, and I liked the book about him transitioning to a werewolf. So my thought is, this was unnecessary.
That's fair.
Like, this was like a book of drama that we didn't need. You could have just skipped over this and gone straight into her becoming alpha, and because she has all of these things she wants to do, and that was interesting. Like, she wants to make like equality and make people stronger in their roles, and you have him learning to be part of this pack. So that would have been a great story. So you didn't need the people coming from Germany. You didn't need the arranged marriage. You didn't need to do that.
Yeah. No, you didn't. Especially with the way it was resolved. It's kind of
Yeah. So basically, like, yeah, honestly, if there is another book, this book didn't move the storyline at all,
yeah, no.
because we are at the exact same place at the end of the book where we are at the beginning of the book.
Yeah, you're right. It could have been like a one chapter novella.
Right.
Okay. All right, so I have
You
nothing
just
more to
rate it.
say.
Yeah. But talking it out, like, I think we figured it out. So our rating systems are to start with 5 unicorns, we go into 2 unicorns. If we don't like it, it's a horse.
I still I was I came in wanting to give it a 3, but now that we've talked through it, I feel like, and because there's no movement in the storyline, I think I have to give it 2 unicorns. Like I
That's
have to.
that's exact. Like, when I marked it on Goodreads, I marked it as a 3, but talking about it and talking about the issues, it's a 2.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, that is where we are in Havoc, and we'll see you around.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.